Okay. Hey everyone, Kim Hughes here with Sane Crypto. And for those of you who are listening to the replay, I want to say thank you and welcome. I appreciate you. Today's topic is the case against HODLing. Now, some of you may be thinking, like, what is HODLing? You'll see this written as hashtag and then the acronym HODL. And if you're new to the crypto world, you'll hear people refer to it when they're speaking as HODLing. And I am here to tell you today why I think HODLing. Oh, by the way, what does it mean? It means the acronym stands for Hold On for Dear Life. And while I'm not 100% sure of the first origin of it, was it related more to the volatility in the cryptocurrencies? Hold on for dear life. Not sure, but what it's come to mean now is there is a school of thought, a group of people who are diehard hodlers who believe that no matter what, you hold it forever and you don't sell because it's going to $1 million. And in fact, a lot of times in the forums, they're very derogatory towards people who might ever consider doing anything else but hodling. And it's definitely one school of thought along a spectrum, the other end of that spectrum being trading, which is also as bad as hodling. But nonetheless, that's what we want to talk about today, this case against hodling, because it is a pretty widely held mindset, mainly because so far it's worked out pretty well. Okay. Before we get to all of that, though, let me tell you a little bit about me. This is not my first bubble. I am a 20 plus year investment industry veteran and critic, by the way. I cut my teeth trading options at the Chicago Board Options Exchange many moons ago. Actually, when back at in the days when options and was the wild west, much like cryptocurrency is today. There are a lot of similarities. I am an author, a speaker, an inventor of an investment method, which I went on to turn into a award-winning investment firm. Grew to number 826 on the Inc. list of fastest growing companies in America, and which I sold last year. So enough about me. Let's talk about you. Here's my question of the day. What I would like to know is, are you currently invested in any of the cryptocurrencies? If not, what is holding you back? Or what has held you back? And if so, for how long? How long have you been in? If you would drop that below in the comments for me, that helps me a lot to tailor the content to my audience. All right, and now on to the topic at hand, which is hodling, and why I think it's a terrible idea in this market. First, let me give you a sense of what this sounds like and how prevalent this bad advice is. I'm going to play a clip from a podcast, a podcast which was started about 6 months ago by two guys, very nice guys, very well-intentioned guys, I am sure. But you know, admittedly, right? They say it every show. They know nothing about investing, and yet they've in 6 months, this show already has millions of downloads. So let me play you a clip that caught my attention here. 1 second. See if we can get this going.
But it took several years for it to recover, and then the dot-com boom came, and it's never left, right? It's just, our stocks are at an all-time high right now, and the technology has matured, and the web has matured, and those who invested before the bubble burst and held on through the downturn are likely very happy today.
Right. You know what? It's not the end of the world.
Okay. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to just pause it there. We can, I may keep going. But first of all, like that is wrong on so many levels. It's at best revisionist history. At worst, it's just someone talking about something that they know nothing about. Let me just show you what they're talking about here. If I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So this is a chart of the NASDAQ. And did you hear what they just said? They said if someone, so this is not even individual stocks within the NASDAQ. This is the NASDAQ index itself. Okay, so in which you had a much better chance than trying to pick from among the thousands and thousands and thousands of stocks that Wall Street, brought to us during this period of time, which failed. Okay, trying to pick the winners, the Amazons from among that is impossible. Okay, but right here, so the highs were 5,000 in March of 2000, roughly, and it took 17 years, if you'd been holding the index, to get your money back out of it. Okay, 15 years rather. Okay, 15 years. So nobody's, that is not an argument. They're just wrong. Anybody who held it for that long would have had dead money, right? That was doing absolutely nothing when there were other investments which could have been making them money. So that argument is just specious at best. Okay, they've forgotten what this was like. Now, why am I looking at the NASDAQ? Well, yes, they use this as part of the argument in this particular case, as many people do. But this is, in fact, a very good guide, because we are, in my view, in a bubble. But I believe that this is an investable bubble. And just as the NASDAQ was in the early days. And I also believe, first principles of investing is this, for me, is this time is never different. That's one of six. This time is never different. If you've read Ray Dalio's book, Principles, which is real hot right now, Ray Dalio is the founder of the largest hedge fund in the world, $500 billion under management. He has more under management than the market cap of cryptocurrencies right now. And, and he says all the time, one of his first principles is similar, which is, this is always another one of those, and your job is to figure out which one of those it is so that you can learn from it and figure out what to do. Okay, so this is another one of those. It's another, sorry, my office is in my barn and they're blowing the aisle behind me. Hopefully you can't hear that. Oh, probably would have been better if I had my microphone closer by. But anyway, this is another one of those. So the internet bubble is a guide for what you can and should be doing. And if that's true, that would tell you that holding is crazy. Not only that, but trying to pick the individual stocks back in the day, tokens or coins or ICOs, and in today's world is equally crazy. Let's just go here. Let's look at a couple of the darlings of the internet era. Now, by the way, many of them, many of them are gone or were eaten up by someone else. But so let's take a look at Microsoft. So roughly $60 in December, at the end of 1999. How long would it have taken you to get your money back out of that? 17 years. You see this? So would anyone who was holding that was holding dead money. There was opportunity cost elsewhere. That was not a good hold. Is it now? Would you have your money back? Yes, but not much, right? So here's let's look at some other examples. Here we go. It's just pulling up some of the tech stocks. VMware. I don't think actually VMware was, but yeah, VMware came after the internet bubble. Let's look at, here's a good one. Let's look at Cisco. Cisco, you never would have gotten your money back. Look at this. The high-end Cisco is building out the infrastructure of the internet bubble exactly in the same way that a lot of these current ICOs are trying to do, and it was a darling. It was one of the few that survived. Most of them didn't. It was a Wall Street darling, high of $77 roughly, March 31st, 2000, top of the market before it fell. And by the way, look at this fall. Okay. So, and here we are, end of 2017. You've never, ever, ever gotten your money out of Cisco, in spite of the fact that Cisco is, a NASDAQ, whatever, 100 company and very well regarded. Okay. So point being, now the exception to this, if you just bother to go through and look at all of them, one of the exceptions is Amazon. Amazon was the one that we all hope we can catch, right? It was very new, very nascent in 2001. It actually never had, its high was $70. And here we are today at 1,100. Okay. Now, so this idea of holding, and oh, by the way, there was quite a long period. Let's see what it was. So, all right, actually it was $100. Okay, so how long until it got back to $100? Even Amazon, which by all accounts, you would have to say would be a winner, it didn't permanently regain 100 until for 9 years. Okay, so even the one that everybody holds out and says, oh, if you'd bought Amazon during the bubble, you'd be happy. Well, again, you had 9 years of dead money. And yes, now you caught the tail of a tiger. But who is to know which of the thousands of internet stocks, then Bitcoin wannabes today, is going to be the Amazon? It's never clear in the moment. And I believe, in my definition of an investable bubble, is that we will experience this this breaking of the bubble, which will take us to the ashes phase, and then the caterpillars will begin to emerge. Okay, the Amazons will begin to emerge, and they will eventually become butterflies. But that is potentially years down the road, many, 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 many years. I mean, we have the benefit of 2020 hindsight with the internet. We know that the internet became a thing, but it was not a certainty at the time, even though as obvious as it is. We believe that blockchain will be disruptive, but again, it's usually first mover advantage. These are not the companies that survive. These are the companies that plow the ground for the companies that come after them, the caterpillars and the butterflies. And so to try to pick that now and hold through whatever crash may be coming now and is crazy for reasons I just showed you, as is maintaining that, well, this time is different. This one's not going to crash. It's going to go to $1 million. It may go to $1 million, but I guarantee you at some point it will crash. That is what technology bubbles do. And so what I believe, so what I'm getting ahead of myself. Some people believe then that means that we should trade this. I don't believe that. I actually think somewhere in the middle, a more pragmatic approach, which says I'm not going to try to pick which of these are going to be the winners. I believe that the opportunity to profit is very great because, these things go up. Look, I mean, usually in the stock market, if you're making 8% return in the stock market, it takes 20 years for your money to double. If I can double my money once or twice or 3 times, potentially in a crypto market, if I have risk capital available, then I'd be crazy not to swing for the fences. A little bit of a moonshot on that with risk capital only, which is the point of this, but to just blindly say, buy and hold forever, makes no sense whatsoever to me. So that's my case against HODLing. Let me jump back over here. I could play the rest of that clip, but I won't. You get the idea. Well, no, I will. Let me just finish.
But it took several years for it to recover. And then the dot-com boom came and it's never left. Right. It's just, our stocks are at an all-time high right now, and the technology has matured and the web has matured, and those who invested before the bubble burst and held on through the downturn are likely very happy today.
Right. You know what? It's not the end of the world. You know what? This thing has had astronomical, gains this year. Now, if you can't handle the 30% dips and the corrections, then you don't deserve Bitcoin's 1600% gains. Right. So you really have to think about that. You go, oh my God, this is tanking right now. Well, you know what? This is the time when people are fearful. This is the time to be greedy. That's what Warren Buffett would do. He said, oh my God, Bitcoin right now is at 13,000. Yes. If you could buy Bitcoin at 13,000 and a couple of days ago it was 19,000 and you would know that you could buy some more today, would you be freaking out or would you be buying more today? Nice. Well, this is great. So, you know what? If you have some coin to invest, maybe you do that. Maybe you hodl. Maybe you panic and you sell everything at a loss, because that's what a lot of the newbies do. They like to buy at the high and sell at the low and freak out in between and then complain about how they lost money and it was a pyramid scheme and it was a big scam. But what you do is You buy and you hold and then you hold and then you hold and you forget about it until the year 2025 and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is worth this much. Woohoo!
Well, at least that's our opinion. That's what we're counting on, and we could be wrong, and the whole thing could go to zero, and you could lose everything. So don't listen to us.
Yeah, you know what? We have opinions. We're not financial advisors. Obviously, we say that and joke about that all the time. But you know what? We've had a pretty good track record, and we've seen what's happened historically on this thing. And you know what? What goes up must come down.